What I want to know, what happens when you get a job and you're not making enough money? What do you do?
Go to the gym, work out. I'm not gonna.
No. I'm saying when you don't have enough money to pay your bills because your job's not paying you enough, what are you going to do?
Well, I get exercise, so.
Do you go to NA meetings?
Yeah, I'm gonna start going.
Do you go in there?
Yeah, in this program. Yep.
You in this at York? Do they have NA meetings?
No, they didn't put me in AJ meetings.
Did
No,
you
they
ask to
haven't.
go to NA meetings?
I asked the counselor which programs do I had to take, and he told me with Linda and with my instruction on.
Hey, we're about to watch 2 Connecticut parole hearings for a woman who, you know, is like possession with intent to distribute, another kind of minor-ish crimes. But what's interesting, in my opinion, about these hearings is how little time they served, when they've been sentenced, and really how unprepared, in my opinion, they are. Basically, you get sent away in prison, you're supposed to be rehabilitated, and I don't get any of that from watching these hearings. But you tell me what you think, and I'll tell you something else. There is a bit of a twist. There is a bit of a twist in these hearings. So with that, let's jump in.
Amanda Calderon, 442122.
Thank you. The hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Amanda Calderon, inmate number 442122. She's serving a sentence of 7 years, suspended after 30 months with 3 years probation for possession with intent and sales of narcotics. As of today, records reflect parole eligibility date of June 26, 2024. There is no victim input in the case. There is an offender accountability plan that has been reviewed and shows that the following programs have been completed: a job in Tier 2. Utilizing the women's risk needs assessment, one of the offender's overall score for recidivating falls within the low range. This is your opportunity to tell the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may be.
Now?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, foremost. I wanted to thank you for seeing me today. I apologize for my negative behaviors that impact other people's lives, including mine. I have learned to maintain a job while completing all my OP groups. I refuse to allow my past mistakes to hold me back and move in a positive direction. I am now focused on being a productive citizen. Thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you for your statement. We do have questions for you, and then we'll deliberate and give you our decision. We'll begin with my colleague, Ms. Palmieri.
Thank you. So, Ms. Calderon, you have no criminal history.
No.
Right. And you're before us today from 2 counts of possession with intent to sell. How do you go from no criminal history to selling drugs?
Because I grew up in a terrible home, and I seen like my parents, that's all I seen growing up. Like, never had someone to show me like there's other path to go. I was just seeing this negative all the time. So I thought it was like, okay, basically, no one was there for me.
See. Well, you were working for a little bit, right?
Yeah, I was working at Food Pet Warehouse.
How long had you not been working there?
But here and outside.
No, on the outside of.
And for FedEx and UPS, it was like 7 months for FedEx, and then I was working at UPS. It was like a year or 2.
Were you selling drugs to make money? Is that what I read?
Yeah, that's what it was.
So you've done the Tier 2 program.
Yes.
And you've had a job at the facility.
Yes.
And you say you're going to change your negative behaviors. So what's the plan for doing that when you're back in the community?
So when I get home, I'm going to look for a job. My brother actually has a job for me lined up. I just have to get home and just stay in the house. Don't be around people that basically will bring me down. Stay to myself. Because if I start going around them again, then I'll start doing the same thing.
Well, I have a couple thoughts on that, but let me ask you, what are your goals?
My goals, I want to do CDL. I want to get my license to do CDL, drive trucks.
I think that's a great goal. I think it's very achievable, and it'll provide you employment for as long as you can. When you talk about what you're going to do, the only, getting a job, having your brother help you get a job is a great thing. It's nice that you're fortunate to have somebody like that to help you. I would say staying away from those people you were with before is the right way to think. But you just need, from my perspective, you need structure. We don't want you to stay in the house and never leave except to go out to work. You have to live within your community.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna go out and like, hang out, but it's just, I don't know. Right now, I choose to stay in the house because I'm already about to be 30. There's no need for me to go out no more. I just want to work and come home.
Well, you don't need to go out maybe to nightclubs, right? To all the
Yeah,
bars.
that's yeah. I
But
just
finding other positive things to do, whether it's at a community center, a church, volunteering, ways to meet positive people who are thinking the same way you are about doing well. All right. Your release plan says you're going to go to a halfway house?
yes.
Okay. All right. And then have you looked into CDL school at all?
I mean, yeah. When I get home, I am because I don't got my license. That's why it's more like really that's where the stop is at. So I gotta get my license first, then I'm gonna go to my CDL.
Okay. How difficult do you think it'll be to get your license? Have you had one?
I went for my permit. I failed, and I was younger. I just really was not into it. But now, like, I feel like I have no choice. I'm not gonna lie. I gotta really,
You need to have your driver's license. It'll help you
yeah.
in many ways. And you can start studying on the tablet.
Yep.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
Thank you. That permit test is hard.
I heard it got harder. Yeah.
It did, because, I have kids who took it and I wouldn't have passed. But you go on the DMV website and they have the study guide with all the answers in it. So just go in and study.
Don't try to take it without.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Is it possible I could do a parole bed or I'm gonna have to wait for a halfway house?
I mean, if you don't have a sponsor, we put in for a halfway house and they decide where you go. We don't really decide any of those placements. You could talk to the parole officer about it. But yeah, unfortunately, it didn't work out with your grandmother because of her housing situation.
Yeah.
But that's all right. What I want to know, what happens when you get a job and you're not making enough money? What do you do?
Go to the gym, work out. I'm not gonna.
No. I'm saying when you don't have enough money to pay your bills because your job's not paying you enough, what are you going to do?
Well, I get SSI, so I'm just gonna do part-time and then the other that can help.
All right. But if it's that simple, why didn't you do that before?
I was hard-headed.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's the easy way out, right? But
Yeah.
it doesn't get you very far.
Yeah, it didn't.
Yeah. All right. Mr. Rodriguez,
I don't have any questions, Madam Chair. Thank you
All right.
for answering this.
are we good? We got a halfway house and no co-defendants? All right. In the matter of Amanda Calderon, inmate number 442122, I'll make a motion to grant parole effective June 26th, 2024. And you'll be placed in a halfway house and you're to have no contact with your co-defendants, Giovanni Beltran or Honesty Torado. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, you understand?
Is that a good? So I'm good?
You're good. Yeah,
All right.
someone will reach out to you, okay? But find you somewhere to go. Good luck
All
to
right.
you. Go to
Thank
work.
you.
Okay, and here's my takeaway, and then we're going to go into the next parole hearing. But this is my takeaway from this: is again that she went into prison with the purpose of maybe getting rehabilitated or whatever. And what did you get out of that? Is there anything there? I mean, I saw nothing. And now keep in mind, she was arrested on June 1st, 2022 for possession with intent to distribute. She was, I guess, out on bond, or I don't know, because she was arrested again on 4/14/2023 for possession with intent to distribute. She received 2 different sentences. For the 2022 one, it was 7 years, suspended after 30 months. And for the one after 7 years, suspended after 30 months. So the same sentences running at the same time. And, it's just, I don't know exactly how much time she served because it's not, well, if she was arrested again on 4/14/2023 and sentenced on 5/4/2023, which is quick, but I guess they're like, well, we have you twice, and she gets out. This parole hearing happened on June 21, 2024. That means that she served I would think just a year. And as you can see, that she got nothing out of it, right? I mean, like, what what is this? And the whole idea, which is so insane, her plan is to get a CDL license. She doesn't even have a license for a car. Why everybody wants a CDL license? But the idea, we see people who their plan is to get a CDL license in Iowa and Connecticut, where sometimes they have 30 moving violations, or they've even killed people while driving, or they have DUIs, and it's their plan. And the prison is investing resources on teaching people, and that only makes me wonder one big thing, which is follow the money. Who is getting these CDL license programs? How much are they charging the prisons, and who is paying for it? That's just my 2 cents, because it makes no sense. You're going to insure a felon to drive a truck? Well, find me the insurance, find me the company that's hiring. And then it's like, this is a dangerous thing. You're literally driving like a ballistic missile down a highway. Oh yeah, that's a great plan. Go find a woman who has no driver. She's never driven a car. Now put her in a truck. Wow, brilliant. But what do we know? We're just sheeple. We're just Mandoos. You know what I mean? Anyways, let's watch the next hearing. And there's a twist to this one. Let's go.
I'm a little bit nervous. Oh my God.
Take a deep breath.
All right, so let's. Good afternoon, my name is Parole Officer Bush. Today is Friday, June 21st, 2024. This is a hearing Connecticut Board of Parties of Parole. Calling board this morning by stating the names on the record, certified they reviewed all statutory required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good afternoon, I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Deborah Smith Palmieri.
Good afternoon, panel member Rodriguez.
Can you please state your name? Sorry.
Meiling Castro,
And your inmate number?
437864.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Meiling Castro, inmate number 43764. She is serving a sentence of 42 months incarceration for violation of probation with larceny versus the underlying offense. As of today, records reflect parole eligibility date April 25th, 2025. There is no victim in the case. There is an offender accountability plan that has been reviewed and shows not to be making programs at this time. Utilizing the Women's Risk Needs Assessment Order, the offender's overall score for recidivating falls within the moderate range. Ms. Castro, this is your opportunity to tell the board why you believe you should grant parole. You may begin.
Hi, my name is Meiling Castro. I've spent I'm sorry, I'm nervous. I almost spent 2 years incarcerated, and this time I have learned so much about myself. I have practiced in different areas of work, school, and addiction services. I have done a lot of different activities. I'm sorry, I'm so nervous.
That's okay, take your time. It's okay.
I'm so nervous. I be going to groups with Linda. I finished addiction services. My time while here, I'm so sorry. Oh my God. My time while here, I get can I read it over again?
Yeah, we can ask you questions if it's easier for you.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. Questions. You mentioned groups with Linda and addiction services. What programs did you do?
I just went to group once a week.
What kind of group was that?
It was about self-control, about depression.
Okay. And you said you did addiction services. Which program with addiction services did you do?
That was every Wednesday with Milton.
Is there anything in the system?
I think it's because it does do a lot in self-programming. It's not considered OEP programs.
Okay.
It's like the
Right.
self-esteem programs and stuff.
Okay.
And
What
I-
about, go ahead, sorry.
And I also asked somebody in the outside to give me information to go to programs, like to stay in addiction service in the outside,
Yeah.
get counseling, better myself.
What programs did you learn about on the outside?
Well, I have, let me tell you, It's in Journey Home Recovery, Living LLC in New Haven.
Journey Home Recovery?
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
in New Haven, okay. Did you reach out to them already?
No, but I had
Okay.
somebody call in the outside, so everything's gonna be set up if I was granted parole. You
Okay,
know, it's my first time locked up. You know, I'm not a bad person. You know, I don't
no,
do some, you know, it's my first time here.
yeah, but you were using serious drugs, right?
I was at the moment, a lot of things happened to me. My mother passed away from cancer. That made me do that. I know that's not a reason.
No, it's not, because those things are gonna happen in life, so you have to learn other coping skills, right?
Mhm.
Do you go to
Yes.
NA meetings?
Yeah, I'm gonna start going.
Do you go in there?
Yeah, in this program. Yep.
You, in this, at York, do they have NA
No,
meetings?
they didn't put me in AJ meetings.
Did
no,
you
they
ask to
haven't.
go to NA meetings?
I asked the counselor which programs do I had to take, and he told me the with Linda and Wilmer instruction on diction and
Who's Linda?
service. Diction services.
Right. Well, we don't have that you took any addiction services program formally, but maybe you did some stuff in your cell on your own?
No, I went to group with Mount. I just forgot to put his name down.
Do you have anything in your paperwork? Do you have any, no, evaluation or a certificate?
No,
anything like that?
everything was good. They already did the evaluation and everything came out
Do you
good.
have it there? We didn't
No,
get
they
it.
didn't give it to me. No, they didn't.
Okay. What did the evaluation say?
That to take treatments in the outside, you know,
Yeah.
and I take down on my methadone too, so I don't want to be there anymore. I'm done with drugs.
So you're in the medicated, you're in the MAT program?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
really
sure does.
nervous. That's why I'm
So let
talking
me
like
ask you a
this.
question. You were on probation at the time. Why did you do so poorly on probation? They tried to help you and you weren't going to groups, or, you know, you weren't, you were using, and why didn't you use probation to help you?
I know that I did wrong of, you know, not getting the help they was giving me. But
Yeah.
like I said, a lot of things were happening in personal life, like my mom's death. Then my brother passed away of an overdose too. So all that, you know, I didn't have the help I needed in the outside.
Yeah.
But the time that I've been here, it helped me a lot. Knowing myself better, making better myself for the future, you know, better myself because my kids need me. I got 3 boys.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're adults now, but they still need their mother.
They
I
still,
understand
like, they still babies.
that. Okay. Are you
Yes.
going to school now?
Yes, for my
For your
GED.
GED?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
How far
Yes.
along are you?
I think
Did you
like,
take any tests yet or no?
yes, they just tested me. So if I test, they're gonna give me a test when we go back to school to see how I do. If
Yeah.
I did good, well, I'm gonna take the GED. They're
Okay.
gonna test me to see how well I, you know, do it.
Good. Okay. Did you have to pay restitution for your underlying offense?
Yeah,
How much did you pay back?
I don't remember, but I paid. I don't
Oh, that
remember,
was
but I
one of the
paid.
reasons you violated. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. And who do you have for support in the community?
I have my ex-husband, my 3 kids, my sister, and friends.
Okay.
Mhm.
But you want to go to a halfway house, right?
Sober living or halfway house?
Have you looked into sober houses?
Yes, there's one in here. It's in, let's see. It says sober living home CTARR certificate certified.
Okay. Did you reach out to them?
No, but
Okay.
somebody in the outside is looking, you know, they call in to make the call, so.
Okay.
just-
All right. So yeah, for our
Mhm.
purposes, it would be a halfway house for now. All right. Well, you're on the right track. You know what you have to do. You know, you have to stay on top of your recovery. Stay away from negative people. You know, go to work. Where do you plan to work?
Home care. I got my license, my driver's license too. So I like to do home care,
Oh,
taking
you've
care
done
of
home care? You've done that
Yes.
in the past?
Yes,
You don't need like a certificate or anything for that?
no,
Let's see, what does this say? According to the RT3, she completed
Two.
tier 2.
Yeah.
Okay, 28 sessions of tier 2. So it was tier 2. Okay. All right, thank you for speaking with me. I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Mr.
I
Rodriguez.
don't have any questions, Madam Chair.
Then I'll turn it over to my colleague, Ms. Palmieri.
I have no questions. You did pay $10,000 of restitution
Thank you.
when you got sentenced, right? You didn't
yes, ma'am.
pay anything after that?
Say that again?
Did you pay anything after that?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
I really apologize. I'm so nervous.
It's all right. It's okay.
You're all set.
All right. So this is no, it's not over here. She's just passed her date. Okay. I mean, you know, I think she's on the right path. She'll need some more work on the outside, but I would be willing to grant her parole today. She's a flat sentence, so she needs the support and services for sure. Yeah.
I'm on board with that, Madam
Halfway
Chair.
house, and I hit about the healthy bell.
That's a healthy value, yeah.
All right.
She's a prick.
In the matter of Malin Castro, MA number 437864. I'll make a motion to grant parole on or after today, June 21st, 2024, with the following conditions. You'll parole to a halfway house and you'll participate in a mental health evaluation and treatment if they deem it necessary. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Listen, Ms. Castro, take advantage of the parole. When they send you to a program, you go to that program. If you need help, you call your parole officer.
All right,
Okay?
thank you
They're
so
there to
much.
help you. You have to take the help, okay?
You gotta ask for the
Thank
help.
you so much.
All right. Good luck to
Thank
you.
you, thank you.
This concludes cash room number 43786.
And there you have it, another parole, which just feels to me procedural because it's like she goes in there with a serious problem, serious like substance abuse problems. And it's like, well, what programs do you take? I don't know. You don't even know the name of it. You don't seem to know anything. And you know what irks me about this stuff? This isn't about being mean. This isn't about, you need to be locked up because no, she has a problem. She has a problem and you want to help her while you can, while she's in prison. So why don't you just cross your T's and dot your I's instead of just being like, let's just get her parole because that's what we want to do. So then we can tell the world that we have a lower incarceration rate than New York and New Jersey. Ha ha ha. And it's stupid. You can ask one question. What's step number 2? You don't know? Well, maybe that means you didn't actually learn. Like, what's your actual plan? Like, what is your, no, there's nothing there. Well, what do you think happened? What do you think? I don't know. I think because they said that she only has a moderate risk to reoffend, I think that there's no chance that we will ever see her again.
We're here today for your revocation hearing. So we are going to get started with. You ask what? Are you ready? Good morning, I am P.O. Meissner, a hearing examiner for the Board of Pardons and Paroles. This is a revocation hearing concerning Castro Mailing number 437864. Today's March 19th, 2025. This hearing is being conducted via video at the BOPP Central Office, New York Correctional Institution. This is a public hearing and public access. This hearing is available via video live stream. Can you please state your full name and DOC inmate number for the record?
Meiling Castro, 437864.
We have parole officer present today. Please identify yourself for the record.
Parole Officer Sheehan, Women's Reentry Unit, New Haven.
Thank you. We have counsel here today. Please identify yourself for the record.
Thank you. Attorney Sonia Jones, Public Defender's Office, Parole Revocation Unit, on behalf of Ms. Castro.
This is a revocation hearing to determine whether you have violated conditions of your release. I will review and make findings of fact as to each of the charges against you. The state, not you, has responsibility to prove the allegations by a preponderance of evidence. That is, the better weighted evidence must establish that more probable than not the allegation is true. If I do not find that there is a preponderance of evidence to support a violation or one or more conditions of your parole, I will reinstate your parole, which is releasing and placing you back on parole supervision. If I find that you have violated one or more conditions of your parole, I will consider whether or not your parole should be revoked. If I recommend a revocation, I'll make a recommendation as to appropriate sanction, and my recommendation be given to a panel for a final decision. If the panel wishes to impose a sanction beyond my recommendation, a supplemental hearing would be provided to justify additional confinement. So this is the procedure for today. I'm going to read you your rights. Then we're going to review the parole violation charge, state your PO is bringing against you. I will review and identify exhibits filed for the record. The state will then have an opportunity to present a relevant testimony. After the state is finished, counsel will have the same opportunity. After considering all the evidence presented, I'll announce my findings. If I find that you have violated one or more conditions of your parole, the state will have an opportunity to speak to your background and history. After the state is finished, counsel will have the same opportunity. Do you have any questions about the purpose or procedure?
No.
Okay, important rights today. You have to have an attorney present and you have counsel here. You have a right to see the written notice to charge the violation. Did you receive the written notice?
Yes.
You have a right to review the evidence against you. You have a right to submit evidence for your case. At this hearing, you have a right to call and examine voluntary witnesses to cross-examine adverse witnesses. Do you understand these rights and are you ready to move forward?
Yes.
All right, so now review the charge, state your PO is bringing against you and the information underlying each charge. So PO Sheehan, please read the charges.
Sure. Charge 1 under curfew on 1/9/2025 at approximately 6:18 p.m. You walked out of Rise Halfway House and stated you were leaving the facility and not coming back to the program. You did not have permission from the halfway house or your parole officer to leave the facility. Your whereabouts in the community were unknown and you refused to disclose where you were to staff. This is a violation of Board of Pardons and Parole's release direction. Charge number 2, drug testing on 9/10/2024 or about this date, you rendered a urine sample positive for marijuana and fentanyl while at Rise Halfway House program. Based on your actions, you are in violation of release direction, obey all laws. On 10/15/2024 or about this date, you rendered a urine positive for marijuana and fentanyl while at Rise Halfway House program. Based on this action, you're in violation of release direction, obey all laws. Number 2, obey all laws. Charge number 3, obedience to the law. On 9/10/2024, you rendered a urine positive for marijuana and fentanyl. On 10/25/2024, you rendered a urine positive for marijuana and fentanyl. On 1/10/2025, you assaulted the case manager at Rise Halfway
You are trash, Lindsay. You are trash.
House while residing there. You were arrested on that day and charged with 53A-182 disorderly conduct, case number 25-000-13407. Connecticut State Police gave you a summons with the arraignment date of 1/13/2025, and you were turned over to parole and remanded to York. That is a violation of the Board and Pardon Parole's obey all laws. Charge 4, halfway house placement on 1/9/2025 at approximately 6:10 p.m. You walked out of the Rise Halfway House and stated that you were leaving the facility and not coming back to the program. You did not have permission from the halfway house staff or your parole officer to leave the facility. Your whereabouts in the community were unknown and you refused to disclose where you were to staff. On 1/10/2025, you assaulted the case manager
You are trash.
at Rise Halfway House while you resided there. You were arrested on that day and charged with disorderly conduct. Connecticut State Police gave you a summons with an arraignment date of 1/13/2025. You were turned over to parole and remanded to your correctional.
Did you read the charge of drugs number 3?
Obey all laws, number 3.
Obedience to law and then obedience to law is charge 2. Charge 3, drugs.
You know what? I think she was served twice, so you may be correct that it did get updated.
Yes, it did.
So charge 2, obedience to the law is drugs. So 9/10/2024, on or about that date you
Charge
rendered a
2 is
urine.
obedience to the law, and then you have the separate charge 3 drugs charges, which I have as the current one.
Okay,
Correct?
that is the current one, correct? Yes. You want me to read charge 3 drugs?
Yes, please.
On 9/10/2024 or about the date you rendered a urine positive for marijuana and fentanyl while at Rise Halfway House program. Based on this, your actions are in violation of release direction, obey all laws. On 10/15/2024, on or about this date, you rendered a urine positive for marijuana and fentanyl while at Rise Halfway House program. Based on your actions, you are in violation of release direction, obey all laws.
Thank you. And
It
the
was-
state is all about, what was
I'm
that?
sorry, it was a fax copy that, and it's almost illegible. Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
no, it is hard to read. I understood, and you're right, with what you just read, so. And the state is filed the following exhibits that are pre-marked for identification purposes as Exhibit A, signed statement understanding agreement, conditions of discretionary parole. B, Connecticut Board of Parole remand to custody order. C, notice of parole violation. D, parole violation report. E, notice of parolee rights. F, Rise Women's Program Halfway House Agreement. G, Rise Women's Program Residential Handbook, Acknowledgement and Handbook. G, Rise Women's Program, what I just said. H, Rise Program Incident Report for positive toxicology screening. I, Quest Diagnostic Drug Monitoring Report for positive fentanyl use collected 9/10/24. J, Misconduct for positive drug screen dated 9/18/24. K, Rise Program Incident Report for positive toxicology screening dated 10/22/24. L, Quest Diagnostic Drug Monitoring Report for positive fentanyl use collected 10/15/24. M, Voluntary Admission for positive drug screen dated 10/22/24. And Rise Program Incident Report for escape unaccountability dated 1/9/25. O, Rise Program Incident Report for assault on staff
You are trash.
dated 1/10/25. P, misdemeanor summons premise appear bail dated 1/10/25. Open the record, exhibits Q and R were not, we were unable to view that, so that evidence has not been received and is not considered at today's hearing. Did you receive notice of parole violation report, and those other documents I marked? Did you review those?
Yes, ma'am.
And council file the following exhibit pre-marked for identification purposes. That's Exhibit 1, list of parole accomplishments and future plans for parole reinstatement. Do you need to continue this hearing to obtain any additional evidence? No. Okay, we have no witnesses. So at this time, the state is going to have an opportunity to call witnesses, present evidence, speak to any of the evidence submitted. I'm going to swear in P.O. Sheen as well as Ms. Castro in the event that you do want to speak today. Can you both please raise your right hand? You solemnly swear, solemnly affirm as the case and be the evidence you shall give, turn this case to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, without penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so, P.O. Sheen, would you like to say anything in regards to the violation?
I'm concerned that you didn't get an opportunity to see the the video. I was able to observe the video, and I was able to observe Ms. Castro assaulting and hitting the staff member at the halfway house.
You are trash.
So because you don't have the video, I wanted just to make it clear that I was able to observe it.
I know it's true.
Ms. Castro, please don't make any
And I
comments.
apologize
Ms.
for that.
Ms. Castro,
Yes?
please don't make any comments.
You are trash.
Please do not comment.
No problem.
Go ahead, P.O. Sheen.
I just wanted to, because you weren't able to view the video, I wanted
Yeah.
to make a statement that I did see the video.
Anything else you'd like to say, P.O. Sheen, in regards to the charges?
No, I think they speak for themselves other than that.
All right, turn over to council.
Thank you. No comment as to charge 1 curfew. In regards to charge 2, under the obedience to the law, just referencing paragraphs 9/10/24 and 10/15/24. We would submit there's insufficient evidence to support that charge, as the charge requires that the parolee was engaged in an act which is a crime. There's no allegation here that she was engaged in an act which was a crime. There certainly is not a Connecticut general statute referenced here as to which crime she was engaged in. Therefore, the defense could not properly defend against that charge. So we would submit there's insufficient evidence in regards to that. In regards to the paragraph 110/25, where the paragraph is characterizing my client's arrest as you assaulted the case manager. There's certainly no evidence here to support that there was an assault that took place. In fact, when the police did arrive, I imagine they had access to the same video that P.O. Sheehan is referencing, that we did not have a copy of for this hearing. However, they didn't charge her with an assault. They charged her with a disorderly conduct. And then again, she did go to court, and the court found it appropriate to allow the information from or the state found it appropriate to substitute the information, which means that the original charge of disorderly conduct was removed and replaced with a charge of creating a public disturbance, which is an infraction. So again, we would submit there's insufficient evidence to support that portion of the charge. In regards to charge 3, I have no comments. In regards to charge 4, just referencing the paragraph of 110.25 again, it's characterizing assaultive behavior that there is no evidence of. And again, it references that the state police gave her a summons for disorderly conduct. And I would just again point out that that charge, the way the conduct is charged and alleged, it's referring to assaultive behavior. And there's no arrest that supports that there was an assault that took place. There's no evidence to suggest there was an assault that took place. And ultimately, my client was charged with an infraction. No further comments as to the charges.
Anything else before I announce my findings?
Nope.
I'll be right with you with my findings. All right, so I'm going to announce my findings. So regarding charge 1, release restriction curfew, I make a no finding due to the charge not meeting the elements. There's no evidence the offender had a curfew or what that curfew was.
You are trash.
On charge 2, I find you violate conditional bail laws, obese law on part 3. This is based on evidence provided in support of the charge, which is Exhibit O, as well as testimony that was provided. Although the charge is slipped down, I do find the behavior meets the elements of the offense. A no finding is made on part 1 and 2, as that fails to meet the elements of the charge. On charge 3, I do find you violate condition or bail laws drugs based on evidence provided, which is exhibits H, I, J, part 1 and K and L on part 2. There is no finding on marijuana use, as that does not meet the elements of the charge of drugs. On charge 4, I do find you violate additional condition halfway house placement based on evidence provided, which is exhibits F and N on part 1 and F and O on part 2. So that includes the fact finding portion of the hearing. Before I make a recommendation, the state will have an opportunity to speak to your background and history. This purpose part of the hearing is to help determine what outcome I will recommend. So P.O.Sheehan, would you like to say anything this time regarding the seriousness of the offense?
Those particular 2 days were very out of character for Miss Castro. Other than those 2 days, she struggled with a lot of things, especially her medical situation. I felt like we had a very good relationship. We talked a lot. We met a lot. That particular day when she assaulted staff,
You are trash.
when we came to get her, she refused to cooperate. She refused to speak. She attempted to trip me down the stairs multiple times. It was extremely out of character and very aggressive and violent. I was very, very concerned about her, very out of character for her. So it's really should be noted that not sure what happened. I do know that on her conditions, she has mental health, a stipulation for mental health. And if she were to be released again, I would like that to continue. She definitely needs to get back with the mental health treatment if she comes out again.
Thank you. Counsel?
Yes, thank you. Ms. Castro is 43 years of age. She's single. She does have 3 children who are adults, but she does receive support, primary support from them, as well as her ex-boyfriend and a new girlfriend that she has. She does live with mental health issues, and perhaps she should be somebody that should be considered to be supervised by the mental health unit. I don't know if she presently is. She does suffer and live with substance abuse issues, which consists primarily of using marijuana And so when you see the positive urine for fentanyl, she tells me that that was something that was in the marijuana. And so we had conversations about that she's not intentionally looking to ingest fentanyl, that she does utilize marijuana. She was in the community, I believe, for approximately 6 months prior to this violation. I believe this is her first violation of parole. She was released to discretionary parole on July 18th of 24, and she was placed at the Connection Halfway House program in New Haven, and she RISE program, and she was there until the date of her remand. During the time that she was in the community, she reports being successful in an IOP at the App Foundation, which I think, to her credit, shows that she was taking some initiative to try to address the issues that she was having. She was involved with counseling there as well, she tells me. She received medication management services as well. She was unable to find employment during this period of time. She tells me that she does have some outstanding medical issues and that she would like to apply for disability so that she does have some support, financial support when she is in the community. I would note that during the time periods that she's been in the custody of the Department of Corrections, not just referencing this particular period of time, which is only, I believe, approximately a little over 2 months, but just addressing her time in DOC as a whole. She does have an OAP that consists of 2 programs, and she's completed those 2 programs during her time period in DOC. So I think that's important to know, that she is somebody that is with the structure, is on task, and does understand that she has those obligations and she's completed them.
I just went to group once a week.
What kind of group was that?
It was about self-control, about depression.
Upon being re-paroled in the community, she'd like to be placed in a halfway house again in the New Haven jurisdictions. She is agreeable to all treatment recommendations. She would like to obtain her GED, apply for disability, and establish primary care services in the community so that she can address her medical issues. We would be asking, based on the totality of circumstances, I think primarily what we're seeing here is that the behavior and the conduct, I think Pio Sheehan also touched on this, kind of occurring around the same period of time, was out of character for her, and that it is directly related to substance abuse. And so certainly she could benefit from being in the community and receiving those types of services. And so we would be asking that she be re-paroled at the next available group. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else, or anyone else before I make a recommendation?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, can I just say
Yeah.
one thing?
Go ahead.
I did check on her when she got to York, and her urine was negative for illicit substances on that day. So was really perplexing for me because of her behavior. I thought originally that it would have been maybe some substance use, but she didn't have substances when she got to York. So it definitely stands out to me as some sort of a mental health issue. So I think it's really important to point that out because that's really what was going on for her, I believe.
Thank you.
And I can just note that during her time period in DOC, I believe that she has been medication compliant. So I think that helps address some of that issue.
I'll be right with you with my recommendation. So I have reviewed all the evidence provided as well as listened to testimony today. I will put on the record, offender was only in the community for about 5 months and 23 days before she was returned to custody on new charges, which were, I do want to put this on the record, the addendum did report on 2/11/25. The charge was up to the infraction of creating public disturbance when she received a $50 fine for that charge. She does have a prior failed community supervision in the community. She is currently serving time for violation of probation. She does have 5 years probation to follow this period of incarceration. Based on the information I have, I am going to recommend that parole be revoked, be re-paroled for May 9th, 2025. It's about a 4-month period of confinement as a sanction. I recommend the following parole conditions: halfway house placement, preferably, you said in New Haven, is that correct? New Haven.
Yes,
Mental health evaluation and treatment as deemed necessary, as well as behavior management program for anger management. My findings will go on the parole board March 27th. So the board's going to make the final decision. They can lessen the sanction, let it stand, or impose a sanction longer than what I've recommended. If they would like a longer sanction than what I've recommended, you'd have a supplemental hearing. And before the hearing, the board would provide you with written notice documenting the reason why they may want to exceed my recommendation. And during that hearing, you would have an opportunity to respond to those reasons in front of the panel of the board. So that is only in the event that they would like to hold you in longer. Do note the board can revoke all of your parole.
yes,
And I recommend you get involved in treatment as soon as you get out there to continue with what you're doing inside.
yes, ma'am.
So I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to both sides.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Thank
Have a
you.
good day, guys.
You too.
Bye, Ms. Castro.
Bye.
All right, and like a little slap on the wrist, a little sanction, and you know the parole board reviews it, and they agree like 99% of the time. So unless there's an update, I'll put that in the comment section. But let's assume that that was the only sanction she got, and I think it's really important for everybody to see this because it paints the full picture. When someone gets released, and it's clear to anybody who is not a parole board member, who doesn't have a PhD, who doesn't work in, you know, the Department of Corrections, it's clear to anyone that she probably was going to have a hard time when she got out. If you have a substance abuse issue and you can't even communicate what the program was that you took while you were locked, what magic? Whoop! It's the magic wand that woof, you go on the DOC and now you don't have the problem anymore. And the idea that they would even buy that excuse that she was smoking the devil's lettuce, it happened to have that stuff in it. Oh, let's make an excuse for her and say she had no idea it was in there because she didn't have it's not in her it's not in her jacket. It's not in her jacket that she did that. So let's throw all common sense aside and just assume, no, everybody buys the devil's lettuce on the street has a little bit of that fetty in there. Are you freaking kidding me? It's crazy. Yes, maybe that could happen. Maybe. I mean, it does. You know, they put that stuff in everything. But I don't buy that that's what's happening in this situation. It's like, whoopsies. That's why I had to. Yeah. And then like even her probation officer was like trying to was talking on her behalf in the sense of, yeah, it must have been a mental why she was doing that. It must have been, well, maybe it was, I don't know. But you know, think about the cost that has gone into this woman so far. Locking her up in the DOC, sending her off to a halfway house, having all of the police coming over and over, assaulting the people there, and she's rolling her eyes. She's rolling her eyes every time the brought up that there's a mental issue, which I guess I'd be nervous about. I don't want to be, you know, you don't want to go on that. You don't want to go on, I don't know, but that doesn't, it probably does. Everybody has some mental issues. It's just, yeah. What are the odds that we'll see her back? I think we'll see her back. I think we will see her back sometime soon. And this is part of it. This is part of how these things work. And see, the way that Connecticut views it too is they're not going to, I don't believe that this falls under their data bucket of recidivism, of, you know, it's more like a sanction. It's like a technical violation. So I think in their books, they would still consider this to be a successful rehabilitation process. And that's part of it too. Follow the numbers. Also, the halfway house thing in Connecticut is a money-making machine. You know, it's funny. I lived in New Haven for a little bit. I've lived around America. I've been quite fortunate to have different experiences and flavors of different states. And I was there for a little bit. I have a little bit of familiarity with New Haven, and I've seen people who are, it's a real estate game. It's a business. You get the properties, you're guaranteed rent checks from the state. They rent out the rooms, the math. You get more money running a halfway house than you can ever renting out to on a normal. It's a money making machine, and that's part of it too, in my opinion. The whole thing is follow the money, and then Connecticut gets to brag and tell the world that that they have lower incarceration rates, that their progressive approach to DOC and rehabilitation is working, but it's not. It's smoke and mirrors. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. What do you think? We're not an echo chamber. Thank you, Lady Holly, for lining this up with the research spreadsheet, making sure we can connect the dot on these hearings. And we have many more like this coming. Let me know if you like them. There's a playlist. It's called The Return of, where we drop these kind of hearings in there, and we'll be keeping tabs. We have a lot of hearings in 2024 that I expect we're going to be seeing revocations for sometime soon. And with that, I'll let you go.
What I want to know, what happens when you get a job and you're not making enough money? What do you do?
Go to the gym, work out. I'm not gonna.
No. I'm saying when you don't have enough money to pay your bills because your job's not paying you enough, what are you going to do?
Well, I get SSI, so
Do you go
Yes.
to NA meetings?
Yeah, I'm gonna start going.
Do you go in there?
Yeah, in this program. Yep.
You in this at York? Do they have NA meetings?
No, they didn't put me in AJ meetings.
Did
No,
you
they
ask to
haven't.
go to NA meetings?
I asked the counselor which programs do I had to take, and he told me with Linda and with Martin such
You are trash, Lindsay. You are trash.